I've noticed something that keeps happening over and over. Food and drink brand owners come to me at events or they contact me through my website. They feel stressed, stuck, they have doubt, and they're all asking the same thing, to taste their product and tell them, with my expertise, what is going on. If you're new to the podcast, I'm Manon Galizzi, a food scientist and flavor expert. I'm here to help food and drink brands develop products with the right flavor strategy so they can increase their repeat purchase. So this is when I realized there is a real gap here, something that is missing that nobody else is feeling. And this is what led me to create the Flavour MOT. If you listen to the previous episodes, I will put the link in the description just in case you haven't, you know we talked about that blind spot and how being too close to your own product means you can't taste it the way a customer would for the first time. And today, I want to tell you what that problem bothered me so much, so that I've created a new service. So over the years, I've had founders approaching me in all kinds of situations, like I mentioned. It could be at events I was there, so either I was networking or was speaking at the event or through my website, through listening to the podcast, and they're all asking me the same question. They wanted a professional opinion and obviously honest opinion about their product. And I really feel for them because I can completely understand their problem. Some of them were getting negative reviews about the taste or other aspects of the product. Some of them were about to pitch to retailers or investors. So they needed this reassurance and also needed to know what was going on and what can I do to fix it. So here's one that really stand out. I had a founder who was doing a marine collagen and naturally it was fishy, right? So they asked their target consumers and they had a lot of complaint. Not only it was still fishy, but it was also sweet. But they didn't use any sugar or any stevia or any sweetener at all. The only thing they were added to their base was a masking flavoring, which is used a lot for different reasons. It can be bitterness, it can be the earthy note. In this case, it was trying to mask the fishy note. So I tasted it and understood immediately what the problem was. And it wasn't the sweetness, because again, they had no sweetness. It was definitely this masking flavoring that has a candy floss note. So when the brain tastes this candy floss note, it perceives it as sweetness. This is just the type of correlation that the brain does, even though there is no sugar in it. Customers were getting a hit of that weird perception of sweetness, but in the same time, they still have the fishy notes, which were not masked really well. So these brands were actually asking me what would be the best dosage for the masking flavoring. So it was a bit of a pickle. I'm not gonna lie. So I was thinking, okay, as I told them, if you increase the masking flavoring with the candy floss, you're gonna mask more the fishy notes. But in the meantime, you're gonna increase that perception of sweetness, which the consumers are complaining about. If you decrease the masking flavoring, yes, the sweetness perception and the candy floss note are going to decrease, but then the fishy notes are going to be more prominent. So the real issue here wasn't the quantity of this masking flavoring at all. It was actually choosing a completely different masking flavor that was actually working with the marine collagen base. It makes sense, right? You want to mask the fishy note, therefore you ask the flavor houses or your contract manufacturer to send you only masking flavoring. But what I learned through the years of experience is not always how it works. And I found with this type of marine collagen and fishy notes is actually another type of flavoring that help mask the fishy notes. So this is what they really needed to understand, was not just, yes, the level of flavor masking is okay, it tastes good or it tastes bad. That was much more deeper than that. They actually needed to understand the fundamental of what was going on in their product. Then I had those experiences at events where multiple founders will come to see me and ask me to taste their product. And I mentioned the earthy, savoury snack in the previous episode. So here is another example of how flavor pairing works. He has chosen the flavors based on the most popular flavors in the savory snack category, but I always say, is the other way around. You have to select what flavors fit your product first, especially if it's a challenging base with very strong earthy notes. And then try to see if it match your target consumers, your brand image, and yes, your category. So the just salted one, for example, was so earthy. I couldn't eat more than few. The only thing I wanted was to drink more water to get rid of this earthiness. And obviously this is the opposite of what you want from a snack. Like I said in the previous episode, obviously you want something that is moreish and you want to keep on munching it. So like I suggested to him, he should find flavors that cut through that earthiness, mask the earthiness, so then you can keep on munching it with pleasure. And that's when I started thinking that there is a real gap here with what is actually available to them. Because right now, for example, when a food or drink brand work with me, it's usually my full service where I do the formulation myself. I do flavor workshop. I will spend weeks of back and forth between tasting with the client and asking for more flavors or ingredients from suppliers, and back and forth we go. And that's an amazing work and I love it. This is one of the things I love the most about this job and having my business. But it takes time. It can take 3 to 6 months. And it requires a significant investment because of all of this time I spent formulating and going to you and doing the tasting with you. So it is a big commitment. But I keep noticing that a lot of founders didn't actually need that. Sometimes they just needed something quick and easy. They wanted some clarity straight away. They needed to know quickly if there were actually a problem, something maybe they were not aware of. They wanted to be able to action something immediately, even if it's just thinking about it, thinking about their strategy, and think about their next step according to what the problem is. Before committed to a full formulation service and weeks and months of back and forth to have the great result, they needed to know what the problem was and what they can do about it. They needed that perspective, stepping back a little bit and understand what's the problem and what are their options. And I thought, I can fill this gap. I can create something specifically for them. And this is why I created the Flavour MOT. Think of it like an actual MOT you would do for your car. You don't wait until everything breaks down in your car. You get it checked regularly, right? So the Flavour MOT is where I, as a food scientist with 10 years of industry experience and flavor science experience, I taste and analyze your product objectively. And I just don't tell you if it tastes good or bad. That would be my personal opinion, which is not the purpose of the Flavour MOT. I look at everything, your flavor profile, the basic taste, the aroma, the mouthfeel, the aftertaste, the balance, the roundness. I think about your base, your target consumers, your market, your competitors. And then I give you a detailed report with exactly what's working, what could be improved, and what needs to change. So there is no, I like it or I don't like it. You will never see that in any of my reports because it's always proper, structured expert analysis. So I've designed it for food and drink brands in few different situations. Maybe you're about to launch and you want reassurance from an expert before you go to retailers or investors. Or maybe you've been on the market for a while and there's something that feels off, but you can't put your finger on what it is. Or maybe you are getting negative reviews and you don't know how to fix it. The Flavour MOT gives you that clarity and that confidence. It's definitely faster than my full formulation service. It's more affordable, but it's still serious professional expert feedback that you can actually act on immediately. In the next episode, I'm going to deep dive into how the Flavour MOT actually works. I'm bringing you behind the scene. I'm going to walk you through all of the steps, show you what I'm analyzing, what you're getting, and how you can use that information. I'm going to be totally transparent about the process so you can understand exactly what you're getting. But for now, I hope this makes sense. I've created the Flavour MOT because I keep seeing the same problem over and over, and I realized there is a way to solve that didn't require months of work or massive investment. Just clear, objective, professional feedback so you can move forward with confidence. So I'm officially launching the Flavour MOT, and because I'm so excited, I'm offering 25% off for the first 10 people who booked with the code MOT26. I will put it in the description of the episode. But just so you know, I only take 4 projects per month, so spaces are going to fill up really fast. So if it sounds something like you need right now, head to my website and check out the details. You can find the link in the show notes. If this episode resonated with you, or if you know a food and drink brand owner who have been wondering if their product tastes the way they think it does, please share this episode with them. And if you found this episode helpful, please leave a review on whatever platform you're listening to this podcast. Your review genuinely helps this podcast grow and make it more visible to food and drink brands who may be struggling with the same thing you're facing. And I will see you in the next episode. Bye!